Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, I'm so happy to have you. So my previous subscribers, welcome back to the channel. So for today's video in particular, we're going to be talking about J.D. Vance, Vice President J.D. Vance, President Donald Trump, and Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. If you're probably wondering why, we're going to ask a lot of questions, particularly in relation to J.D. Vance, and find out if J.D. Vance trying to take Trump out, and J.D. Vance trying to reveal information about the Epstein files into the news media. We're going to find out everything we need to know about J.D. Vance in this particular video. So hang tight, stand by, relax, chill, eat some popcorn if you will, and let's just get on with this video. It's going to be a very short introduction and we're going to head on in. So this video is being recorded on Wednesday, July 23rd at 1:38 p.m. Eastern Standard Time as of when I'm recording this specific video. Again, this video is just for entertainment purposes only and for educational purposes only as well. If you want to help out this channel grow, you can do so by liking, commenting, subscribing, hitting the bell icon, engaging with the content. Watching this channel, even better yet, sharing this video content with others really help boost the algorithm here on YouTube. Alright, so let's begin. We have a lot to get through in today's video. Let's just get on with it. If you have been noticing that YouTube had not notified you when I do post and upload, do not worry. Go into the description below, follow my Facebook group or my Blue Sky account, and I'll notify you when I do post and upload. I know that occasionally, if you have not noticed already, that YouTube kind of, in terms of my viewership, has kind of went down a lot, and I'm sure a lot of you guys have not been notified when I do post and upload. So this is my alternative way to be able to get the information out to you because there is no other way that I can do it. But anyway, let's go ahead, let's begin. Let's just head on in. Let's just find out what's going to happen with J.D. Vance, Donald Trump, Jeffrey Epstein, and Ghislaine Maxwell. Let's do it. Okay, so the first question, let's take a look. So the first question I have written down here is J.D. Vance leaking Epstein info into the media. Let's see. So Conspiracy Angels, tell me, is Vice President J.D. Vance releasing information about the Epstein files into the media? Is Vice President J.D. Vance releasing anything on Jeffrey Epstein, MC Island, Diddy, and possibly even Ghislaine Maxwell? Is he releasing that into the media or being like a whistleblower in itself? No, I'm hearing the word daddy's little boy. Very bizarre thing to be getting, but let's take a look. Wait, hold on. Daddy's little boy. What does that mean? Daddy's little boy. Is Trump considered daddy, or is it Peter Thiel, the gay billionaire, considered daddy? We're gonna find out in a minute. Because we have the Queen of Pentacles here. The Queen of Pentacles is a very interesting card because this is the card that, based on how I'm looking at it now, these cards represent J.D. Vance. These cards represent J.D. Vance. And these cards represent Donald Trump. So let's take a look. The first card that we get is the Queen of Pentacles, but the Queen of Pentacles is reversed. This is money. This is hidden money. This is not money that's openly disclosed. This is the role of J.D. Vance. Money that's openly disclosed, but is hidden. But it's not being told to people. Interesting. We have here something that's underground. The world. Your perspective. You see the hidden. You are a part of the deep state. This is deep. This is shadow. This is shadow. And we're asking the question is J.D. Vance releasing information about the Epstein and all those pedophilia rings and all those things into the media? That's what we're asking. We have here something being uprooted. Something being uprooted. An opportunity. A normality is being uprooted. Okay. We have here your position in jeopardy. This is the King of Wands here. His position as vice president was in jeopardy at some point during his tenure when he became officially vice president. Something tells me here that it was in jeopardy and that he needed a distraction. He needed something that was so big that it could take the mind off of somebody temporarily so that they don't remember, oh, I have to fire him, or that, or to remove him. This is the king of wands here, represent jeopardy, that something was in jeopardy, specifically his position, his seat. Now, if you guys have been with me for quite a while, you may have known that this is the card that represents the vice president. This is the card that represents conservatism. But also, when this person is sitting down in the chair, it means that they are in position of power, they are in position of control, that they won, that they are the one who's going to be the leader. It's reverse. Very interesting. Very interesting that this card this card is very reversed, because we have two cards here with a woman and a male, and they're both reversed. This is Vice President. This is Harris. This is J.D. Vance. Both of them are reversed. Why is it important? Why is it important that Harris is reversed and the King of Wands is reversed? Now, I'm not saying that Harris has anything to do with the money, the undisclosed money, not that. But because she comes in when it talks about amplifying the energy of this card, in order to disclose and be able to understand what the King of Wands reverse means, we need to also take a look at this. And this also represents Harris in this aspect. This represents the vice presidential role, which tells me at some point in time the vice presidency was in jeopardy during his tenure, which means that it almost feels like he had no power. He had no will. Okay. Then we have here, it feels very much like illegitimacy here. We have the Ten of Cups. This is my election card. This could explain what's happening. It could explain the illegitimacy of his position. Because backhand deals, undisclosed, hidden, in deep state, behind the scenes, within the shadow, something being uprooted, your normality is being uprooted, your position is not legitimate, you have no power, your tenure was in question at some point, and then here you have is the legitimacy of your position. There's this legitimacy of the election. This is J.D. Vance, but this does not answer the question either. Let's take a look at Donald Trump. The card that comes under the Queen of Pentacles reversed is we have 10 of Swords, backstabbing, but it's reversed. It's saying that he's not aware of the backstabbing, that he was not engaged in this backhand deal, which means that when it comes to J.D. Vance, and you're looking at him as the vice presidential role, specifically in the Queen of Pentacles, the fact that it's reversed tells us that there was a backhand deal. Again, this video is just for entertainment purposes only, for educational purposes only as well. But it was a backroom deal that was made behind Donald Trump's back. That there was a decision that was made, but Trump was not aware of it, which is why the betrayal card is reversed, because it's never been used. He's not even aware of it yet. With the World's card, being part of the deep state, being controlled by the deep state, being able to see the shadow of things. Here you have for Donald Trump is represented as the Two of Swords. And this is somebody who is blinded, who's not able to make the right decision. But either way, he's a puppet. Either way, it gets what they need. He is the state. He is the deep state. He is the shadow government, if you will. Because you have a man here. With a woman, but in this aspect, it's going to be a man. And you have two swords. But you're given two options, but both of them are the same thing. They're not a wand and a sword. It's just two swords. And because either way, whatever swords you let down is still a desired outcome for whatever government or organization you actually represent them. This is what this represents here. This is what this Two of Swords represent for Donald Trump. That no matter what decision he makes, he's benefiting an overall goal, an overall perspective, an overall organization, a proposal, if you will. So no matter what Donald Trump does, he's leading it closer to wherever it needs to go. Something being uprooted, normality, a sense of normalcy is being uprooted. What is being uprooted? The Emperor. Now we talked about the J.D. Vance's position as vice president would put in question at some point during his tenure, which means that from January all the way up until July of 23rd, today, was put in question. This is the Emperor. This is the loyalty test. Normalcy. The loyalty test. I'm also seeing a lot of uterus here. Right, you see the horn of the goat. But here is representing uterus. Female. Again, another thing that represents female. Oh, God. Okay. I know. Okay, so it looks here like she's holding a stick. Donald Trump is holding a stick, and he's holding like almost like a golden apple, if you will. And what I'm getting information is this is a loyalty test to see, okay, are you loyal to Donald Trump? Or are you loyal to the people who you are behind, who got you to where you have to be? This is the Emperor card. This is talking about blackmail. I wonder if maybe possibly Trump blackmailed him into doing things so that he had nothing that he can say on Epstein because it's blackmail. He made him do things so that he has blackmail ready and set to go. God forbid they decide to take him down. And here you have it, the devil card. Because he's not in position. He's not in control. It makes a lot of sense now. It makes a lot of sense why J.D. Vance is not in control. He's not in the vice presidential position. Somebody else is in his position. But he's also not in control. But Donald Trump is in control. Here is the devil. The devil is upright. We have here the chains. Right? The chains. Once J.D. Vance's position and seat goes up, he's in competition with the emperor. He's looking at the emperor. Right, here's the emperor looking at you, but then here's J.D. Vance, and he's looking at the emperor. He's looking to challenge, right? But right now, that's not an option right now. This is not where he's at right now mentally. Which telling me that it's not going to happen anytime soon, but it could get to the point where J.D. Vance could have enough courage to challenge the president. But this is why the devil card is here. So the devil, what it represents Trump, his loyalty to Donald Trump is being tested. Donald Trump is testing J.D. Vance's loyalty. That's why it's in question. But eventually, what comes to Donald Trump is an attack. Possibly this could be another attempt. It could be an attack or an attempt by J.D. Vance. He might see illegitimacy here, the Knight of Swords. Right? Because remember how we said here, we talked about the Ten of Cups here, talking about his illegitimacy of J.D. Vance's position or role. The illegitimacy, right? But if he's considered illegitimate and his position has been weakened, then that also would be the same for Trump, right? So the Knight of Swords is coming at the devil. It's coming at the Emperor. It's coming at the Two of Swords. It's coming at the Ten of Swords reversed. Let's explain it. Let's break it down. We have here the Knight of Swords. Who is it going at? It's going at the oppression. It's going at the authoritarianism. It's going at those in position of power. It's going at those who did the blackmailing. Why they did the blackmail, how they were able to take control. Who is the Knight of Swords? The Knight of Swords is no matter what decision you make, you are always heading towards the desired outcome or goal, no matter if you have to make a deviated choice, an outcome. And then here you have the Knight of Swords. It's the betrayal that's coming. They're the betrayal that's coming. So in essence, what does this mean? When we look at it at a more grandeur scheme, and we try to put the cards together between J.D. Vance and Donald Trump, let's break it down. Let's take a look and combine the energy. Let's see what we got. We have it with the Queen of Pentacles reversed and the Ten of Pentacles reversed, which means somebody's hidden behind the scene about the possible betrayal. We have here an underground network, a deep state or a shadow government with an underlying goal to pursue something, and by doing that, they're able to pursue a desired outcome, and no matter what choice they make, they're heading in the right direction. Something being uprooted, normality, something that is considered normal is being uprooted. This is the emperor, this is the presidency. Something about the president is being uprooted. Here you have it, the King of Wands reversed, followed by the Devil card. The Devil card is the power of an authoritarian individual who has direct control over the vice presidency. And by doing that, the election is considered illegitimate, and because the illegitimate election causes the downfall of this entire thing. This is the Knight of Swords. The question is, what is the Knight of Swords? Is the Knight of Swords the Epstein file? Is it the FBI? Is it the CIA? Is it the military? Is it the American people? Who is the Knight of Swords? That's the question that we need to know. Who is the Knight of Swords? Okay, let me see if I can get a little bit more information on that. Okay, Spirit Angels tell me Is JD Vance leaking any information about the Epstein file to the media? Yes or no? Okay, we have the Three of Pentacles. The Three of Pentacles is information, document. I'm hearing more so like anything is USBs, like those little like things you put into like a computer and you download files on. Download things. I'm getting you UBS or something like that. I don't know how to pronounce it. But this is what I'm getting representing the Three of Pentacles here. We have here as well, we have the reverse kind of want here, struggle. What it feels like to me is feels like if JD Vance was actually involved, again, this is just for entertainment purposes only, for educational purposes only as well. But it feels like JD Vance cannot let Donald Trump know that he's doing this, so he needs to underhand it. He needs a woman to do that because in his eyes, a woman, when it comes to Donald Trump, it's oftentimes more than not underestimated. They're seen as weak, inferior, not able to make clear judgment, not smart, not intelligent. But also that becomes his weakness as well because a woman can take Trump down. Because that became his weakness because he underestimated the power of women and therefore he would never suspect them as the deliverance to be the message. And here you have is the Empress, the female, the spy. So yeah, I would say so. I would say that, based off of what I'm getting now, it does feel like JD Vance is underhand information to a spy, and the spy is leaking information, but JD Vance himself is not directly going to be connected to it, if you understand what I'm saying. The top of that here, we have the Presidency, the Star card reversed with the Devil. You saw me shuffle this. This is the Star card reversed, the Presidency with the Devil, which is Trump. Here you have is the Queen of Wands, the female. Now, oftentimes, more than that, it's interesting because Donald Trump represents the female. But remember I said before many times on the channel, Donald Trump represents what's called the dark feminine. He represents the darkness of the female, the opposite of feminine energy. Yeah, it may be the masculine, absolutely. But in the tarot cards now, it's indicated as, and it's coming off as the dark feminine, the shadow feminine. Underneath, we have the government, the Hierophant. And here you have it, the Ten of Pentacles. Things are not all as they seem. Yeah, it doesn't appear as if there's going to be a new leader anytime soon. But it does answer a question that we have been asking. Is JD Vance actually engaged in behavior to leak information, act a whistleblower against Trump? And it does appear that there's a spy. There's a spy, and this person, this woman, is leaking information on behalf of those who are directly within Trump's circle. Now remember, we also mentioned as well that JD Vance's position is in jeopardy. He cannot put that in jeopardy because he has other people who are paying him behind the scenes, and he needs to make sure that he's in the top role, top position, which means that he needs to ensure that if things get too suspicious, he's going to have to stop. Right? So, who is that Knight of Swords? Who is that Knight of Swords? Who was going to be the one going after Trump with the Epstein file? Who is the Knight of Swords? I feel like they're going to catch somebody. We have the Chariot reverse. This is slow deliverance. It's a very slow process, which means that this is going to be over the course of years. But this is a very slow process. It's a Chariot going behind the scenes. This is the Knight of Cups. A very different horse. The same horse, just different option. It's no longer a sword, it's now a cup. It's a proposal. Again, it's heading in the direction of the Chariot, which means fast pace, fast speed, but it's slow pace, slow speed. Right here is the cup, an opportunity, an offer. And here you have is darkness. So an offer within the darkness that takes a very slow time to manifest will come to the surface, and this person will be apprehended. This person will be in jail. This person could even be killed. I'm hearing the word treason. We have the Four of Cups reversed. The Four of Cups reverse means an opportunity has closed. Yeah, an opportunity has closed. It's the Ten of Swords. Remember we talked about this before, is that when the Knight of Swords comes, it's going to go all the way to the end of Trump's reading, and it's going to go towards the Ten of Swords. And that means the betrayal has begun. The betrayal is over. It has been completed. The top of the deck, though, is an Eight of Pentacles. It means working on an option, working towards a goal, working towards an opposition, working with a plan, premeditation. This is a leader who causes chaos among peace, right? And what is this? This is not a new leader. This is not J.D. Vance. This is talking about Trump. So, again, when you talk about the Knight of Swords and someone going in for the attack, this could be the Epstein file, it could be CIA, FBI, military, it could be American people, congressmen, senators, politicians, I don't know. But one thing is certain is that there's a slow process occurring. It's going to take over years. With the Knight of Cups reversed, which means a proposal in office being made behind the scenes, within the darkness, and something will be found treasonous. A person will be apprehended. The question is, if the fact that we're asking about the Knight of Swords coming in for the attack, that might indicate to us that it could be an attack on Trump. There could be an attack on the government, the administration. It could be an attack on Donald Trump particularly. Not J.D. Vance, because J.D. Vance is some way the spy in itself. I don't see anything in relation to J.D. Vance, but I do see an attack on Trump with the spy. Now, you guys all may have remembered my two videos where I did Ancient IKEA Part 1 and Ancient IKEA Part 2. I'll put the link to those videos in the description below and at the end of this video in case you want to go ahead and watch it. Okay, what's the last question? Okay, so I guess we kind of already asked this, but we can be a little bit more literal with spirit. It says here, is J.D. Vance planning to take Trump down? Is J.D. Vance, the Vice President of the United States, planning to take Donald Trump down? Is J.D. Vance, the Vice President of the United States, planning to take Donald Trump down? Okay, let me ask it a different way. Is J.D. Vance going to become the next President of the United States under Donald Trump's tenure? Is Vice President J.D. Vance going to become the next President of the United States under Donald Trump's tenure? The Wheel of Fortune, divine timing. Remember what I told you? When this card is upright, it means he's in power, he's in control. We're asking about, you guys, this is not even edited, this is literally raw footage here. This is the King of Wands here. In control, in power, in position, in the right seating, in the environment. Here you have betrayal. That he betrayed Trump to get to where he got to go. The Nine of Swords. Okay, so at least that answered the question. Is J.D. Vance going to become the next president? It looks very likely, yes. It makes a lot of sense, too. I've talked about how Harris will not become the next president until the number 49. In order to get to 49, we need to have a 48. J.D. Vance will be the 48th president. But to get there is very interesting. Because the cards here we're asking is, well, let me see what was the question again, I forgot. Is J.D. Vance trying to take Trump down? We're asked, will J.D. Vance become president under Donald Trump's tenure? Right, two very polar opposite questions, but yet they lead to a similar story. Well, the first card that comes in is for J.D. Vance. Is J.D. Vance trying to take Trump down? This is the Four of Swords. The Four of Wands. Oh my God. The Four of Wands reversed. This is unison. This is togetherness. It's reversed. This is capital. This is saying that no, the capital is not unified. The alliance is not unified. We have here a Knight of Cups reversed. We now be talking about a proposal, opportunity being underhanded, behind the scenes, within the shadow, right? And here you have, as well as we have the Queen of Swords reversed. This is again information that indicates to us taking that sword and shoving it through the incumbent and defeating the incumbent. But right now we don't have the Ace of Swords right now. But this is the intent. This is justice. But this is not justice in the way that we will perceive justice, how the justice that we want. This is justice for a personal reason. This is justice for J.D. Vance. Something so personal that Trump did to him, J.D. Vance wants back. This is a long time coming. This is premeditation. This is why J.D. Vance has always been consistently in all my videos going to backstab Donald Trump, because in his messed up way, he is doing this out of personal vendetta. This is what this is a personal vendetta. And then that card that comes in as well is we have the Four of Pentacles. And the Four of Pentacles means holding on. Holding on. Right? This is the opportunity. Asking the question, is J.D. Vance trying to take Trump down? You know Donald Trump is weak. He only has 4 pentacles left out of 10. The odds are against him now. The 5 out of 4 are against him. Right? And here you have is great fortune. 9 of swords. It should be the 9 of pentacles. This is indicating to us great fortune, but it's reversed. It's saying that there's no room for error. J.D. Vance, if he wants to pursue this, there's no room for error. He has to do this flawlessly, successfully. Because this is not an ordinary thing. This is taking down a king. And you cannot take down a king and get a second chance. You have to take down the king and do it flawlessly, with effort, with perseverance, with motive, making sure that everything goes right, and making sure that there's no room for error. Because if you make a room for error, your reign is over. And this is why the 9 of Pentacles comes in. That J.D. Vance is very cautious in his decisions. Right? And the next card that we're asking, the next row is, will J.D. Vance become the next president under Donald Trump's tenure? And here we have it, the Knight of Wands, running towards an opportunity, running towards something. Right? Running towards something. And here you have, what is he running towards? The Tower. Right? He's making sure that when he runs towards an opportunity, he's running away from what can hurt him. He's running away from what can hurt him. Right? That's why the Tower card comes in as something so big, so massive. J.D. Vance needs to make sure that he does not get caught in the crosshair, in the crossfire, if you will. And if he does that, his spy will elevate him to a higher position. His spy, his empress, right? He will elevate himself to a higher position, to a higher role, to a higher sense of status. This is the Empress card. You also do have as well, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, the 9 of Cups. The 9 of Cups is opportunity here. This is achievement. This is goal. This is information. These are information. These are the detail. And the art in the detail, right? The devil's in the works, right? And the devil is in the works, right? But the demon is the little details. That's what this is. J.D. Vance stands here and says, oh, look at all this. And he destroys his predecessor. He destroys Donald Trump. And here he is standing here and said, now make me king. I'm the new king. That's what this represents. That's what the 9 of Cups represents. And here you have as well, as if you guys may have been with me for a while, you know when this is upright, it symbolizes the 6 of Cups, symbolizes the past administration, which will be Joe Biden's administration. But it's reverse. This means a future administration. This is a future administration. J.D. Vance, because he took down, even though he was trying to do whatever he can to become the next president of the United States, it also is going to be the thing that backfires him, that hurts him. It's going to feel like General Ford with Richard Nixon. It's not going to play out well. And it won't. But that's what's going to happen. Now, when you start to look at a little bit more information, we start to combine the two. And we start to combine, okay, so is J.D. Vance trying to take Trump down, and is J.D. Vance going to become the next president? Let's combine the story. Let's combine it. Let's see what happened. We have the four of Wands here reversed. It's saying here that there's disunity, disalliance. There's no lack of alliance in capital, in the administration. We have here the Knight of Wands. Oftentimes, more than not, somebody's running away from a situation that they're not happy about. They escape. They take themselves out of a situation, if you will. And then you have here as well, you have the Knight of Cups reversed. And the Knight of Cups reversed is a hidden proposal, an opportunity. And an opportunity is heading towards the Four of Wands here, which represents an opportunity to remove, an opportunity to get rid of the problem, if you will. A hidden underhand proposal. And here is the Tower card, the breaking news, the removal. Right? And remember what I said here as well, that J.D. Vance, in order to make sure, he needs to make sure he's not in the crosshair, he's not in the crossfires. He cannot go down with Trump. But if Trump will drag him down with him. Trump does not like it when people rise. He will drag J.D. Vance down with it, and J.D. Vance needs to make sure that if he wants to become the next president of the United States, that he makes sure that Donald Trump cannot and will not take him down. Because J.D. Vance will go down with Trump otherwise. And because remember, the proposal is being underhanded behind the scenes. Remember we talked about earlier in the video, being underhanded, the proposal being underhanded behind the scenes. When it gets revealed, it's going to be made a lot more sense to Donald Trump who did it. And that's why Trump's going to take down J.D. Vance. Right? And here you have it, the Queen of Swords. It's not the justice that we all wanted. Not the justice that we all agreed upon that was really needed. But nonetheless, this was a personal vendetta. This was a personal justice. Not for us, but for J.D. Vance. Something that Trump did to J.D. Vance becomes very personal to him. Here you have is the Emperor. This is the spy, remember? The Empress represents the spy. Something is so personal, the spy becomes in control. Something with the spy, with J.D. Vance, now dictates the new administration. It dictates how things go. And here you have is the Four of Pentacles. Trump is going to try to hold on. Holding on to power, holding on to control. But the devil's in the detail. The devil's in the detail. Somebody else is saying, make me king instead. Right? This is kind of like high school, if you will. One plastic girl takes out the other and says, I'm the new leader. But it doesn't make you the leader. No, does it? It just makes you an a-hole. And this is what the next card is. You have the Nine of Pentacles reversed. The Nine of Pentacles reversed is a very interesting card. But the Nine of Pentacles talks about great fortune, great strength, great will. If J.D. Vance decides and it becomes somehow, in a very strange way, accedes to the presidency, ascend to the presidency, he's going to have a lot of struggle. Because remember, he worked so hard destroying his predecessors, destroying Trump. Because Donald Trump and him were together, were part of the deep state. He himself will be his own undoing. And here you have is a future administration. And this is the story of J.D. Vance. The story of J.D. Vance, Jeffrey Epstein, and Donald Trump. And let's take a look at the last final thing, the Soul Book of Answers. Let's find out, what do we need to know? And the way these books work is that essentially I just have to kind of like close my eyes and just let Spirit tell us what we need to know. So I just close my eyes and just run my finger through until an answer reveals itself. Whatever the answer is what we need to know for today's video. Here it is. It says, fall out of thinking. Fall out of thinking. Okay, and is this in relation to J.D. Vance? You already got our answer, so you already know. It says, there is nothing to do, nothing to force, nothing to want. Everything happens by itself. So this is by divine timing, if you will. And what is the message for you? What should you take away from this video? If you want to know your past, look into your present conditions. If you want to know your future, look into your present actions. And that is a message for you from the spirit world. Thank you for watching. Hope you guys had a great day, and I'll see you guys next time. Until then, peace out. I love you. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.